Let's speak to Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. Dr. Jasser, welcome to Newsday. First of all, your reaction to this missile strike.
I have to tell you, as a Syrian American with family in Aleppo and in Damascus, this is a wonderful turn of events. I think it's important that the Syrian people and most of the expatriates see that America will be on the right side of history, that Assad, as he tested Trump now, only a few days after Secretary Tillerson said that Assad's fate will be determined by the Syrian people, which was, in a way, a laughable statement because Iran and Russia did not leave it up to the Syrian people. And I think now we've seen an about-face. We were very happy with the words of Ambassador Haley, who stared down the Russian ambassador and showed the pictures of the dying children and the chemical use of wet weapons. And I think now we see that Assad will realize, even though this is likely a targeted strike, even though this is likely a strike that the Russians knew about, and while they may complain, likely will not do much about because they want to contain their bases in Syria and they don't want to see a hegemonized Iran and Hezbollah and others. So I think this will be targeted to send a message, but it'll also send a message to Syrians everywhere that America is on the right side of history.
Well, what is the message for President Assad? Is it you can use your weapons, but you just can't use chemical weapons and then carry on?
I couldn't agree more with your question in that, if you look at all of our work in 2011, 2012, we were saying that the rebellion should have been helped before ISIS even existed. So, this is better than nothing. I do think that a serious strategy needs to evolve. Simply killing ISIS is not a strategy. The end of the Assad regime needs to be part of this. I don't think these strikes mean that the Trump administration is going to move towards a strategy that includes the end of Assad. But at this point, the rebels, the revolution in Syria will take what it can get, and any strike that takes away any assets that the Assad genocidal military has to use against its own people is a better day than the day before.
So you're hoping this is the start of something else, some further American involvement in the war?
I do. I hope it's the beginning of the evolution of a strategy. And the strategy, as we see, number one, is to first ask that and begin to demand that Russia and Iran pull out their military assets, the 30 to 40,000 Hezbollah and Iranian military that are there. Second, to ask that Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey stop the radicalization of the revolution. Third, begin to develop no-fly zones in the region so that humanitarian support can get to the revolution and the Syrian citizens. Fourth, then slowly over the next 5 years, start to develop real moderate alternatives that will eventually oust this evil regime.
You're not worried about Russia's warning about negative consequences for military action?
That is certainly a worry, but we have to be on the right side of history. We can't turn a blind eye to 500,000 dead, 10 million displaced. I mean, how long are we going to sit by on the borders of Israel to allow not only chemical weapons to be used, but a belligerent Hezbollah and Iran that wants to spread imperialistically? So at some point, I hope, as I've been very critical from the beginning during the campaign, Mr. Trump's inability to be negative towards Russia or even Assad at the time, I hope eventually that leverage that we have will be used to tell Russia, just as in Afghanistan, they needed to pull out. In Syria, they'll need to do the same.
Good to talk to you. Appreciate your time. That's Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy.